This report is divided into three main parts. The one is dealing with urban trends, what is happening today in the world cities. The second one, we are looking very closely to the urban divide, which is what is happening in terms of those that have and those that have not, different things. And the third one is a lot of policy orientations. We are really suggesting what cities and countries, based on evidence, could do in order to overcome this problem of the urban divide. The main findings for these parts are the following. If you look at urban trends, you would see that today the world, those cities and regions that are growing the faster, that are developing, that are prospering, are the regions that are clustering themselves into mega regions, into urban corridors, into city regions. In other words, the idea of agglomeration of economies, of spaces together with better transport, with better solutions of IT, are the cities that in the future are going to prosper better. We have also seen that, however, some of these cities, you would see that some parts of the city, of some regions, are not taking advantage of this prosperity. So there is a need to do something for those that are left behind. And the report is very clearly telling us which regions and who is left behind and why, and then what kind of policies we should implement. We are showing that urbanization is going hand by hand with quality of life, with development, with economic development. There is no country, there is no city in the world today that has grown economically and has developed without urbanization. The equation is very simple. Cities and countries want to develop, they need to urbanize. And of course, they need to pay attention to the rural areas as well, because urbanization is a strong linkage between rural and urban development. But urbanization is bringing prosperity. When you think about technology, development, governance, advancement of women, more democratic institutional societies, all this is coming with urbanization. We are also looking at new data in something that we call the cities that are more inclusive. We are analyzing those cities that are growing but generating more exclusive development in terms of social education, access to health. We are providing very interesting information on the cities divided by those that live in slum areas, those that live in other parts of the city that are not slum areas. Data is very revealing that we need to proceed like that in the future. Indicators are telling us that sometimes those that are living in slum areas could be worse off than rural areas in many places, or could be the same. And this is bringing to us a very interesting finding that we need to pay a lot of attention to the urban divide and to urban policies and to urban poverty per se. We hope to achieve several things. One, that is obvious, I think, through this report, the findings and presentations, is that the world is changing very fast and is becoming urban. It's not only that recently we outnumber the people living in rural areas today in urban settings. Most important than that is that many local authorities, many central governments are reluctant to understand the importance of urbanization. So we want with this report to show that urbanization is not by no means a negative thing, but a very positive development and societal development thing. We want also to show that it's possible to overcome the urban divide, that you don't need to stop economic growth, that you don't need to change policies, but you need to adjust them to look to proper orientations in order for the urban divide in terms of slums and in terms of opportunities to be reduced. We want also to show, and this is a very important finding of this report, that when we talk about inclusive cities, it means not only economic, it means social, it means cultural, and it means political. We are showing clearly in this report that when somebody is poor economically, it's very likely that it will be poor culturally and politically. It will have problems to participate. This report wants to portray the need of integrated development issues in which policies would respond to these four main dimensions: cultural, political, economic, and social. If countries fail to address the urban divide, there will be social unrest, there will be economic costs for cities. We are showing in this report something very interesting. When you are not paying attention to social discontent, and you are not addressing the urban divide, some money, some resources that eventually could have gone to economic development are being used to contain the social unrest. In other words, financial resources are not used properly because the idea of preserving the status quo. That failure to address the urban divide, we have social, economic, and political costs.